Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Through the Lens. This is Steven Segal. A lot of you know me already, so welcome. So for the first time, I'm obviously going to be sharing this on Facebook. It's normally on YouTube, but I thought, let me share it with you on Facebook, see how many people enjoy it, and then potentially come join me on YouTube. So those of you that are out there, I just want to double check you can hear me. Just give me a sign if you guys can hear me. Just want to make sure that I got you and you can hear me good. Hey, John, how you doing? Good to see you. Just want to do a mic check just to make sure that everyone can see me. John Lan, all the way from Mauritius, he's joined in. Those of you that can hear me, thank you so much. I just want to make sure that you guys are hearing me good and well. Okay, great. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. All right, so this evening we have got season 1, episode 3. Last week, obviously, we delayed the show purely because of respect of what's happening globally, and I just thought it was the right thing to do. So this evening's show, and we're chatting Litra, we're chatting to Dru Williams all the way out from the States in Utah. He's going to be our content creator and in the creator's corner this evening. So, but I want to just double check those of you that are out there. Sound working. Thank you so much. Leonie, good to see you. MBL Photography, all of you joining in. Thank you so very much. All right. So with regards to the show, how it works, and those of you that are new to watching the show, it is a show that's dedicated not to telling you how certain shots are created, how or videos created. It's not a gear specific show. Yes, we've got the brands that come on. They're going to be talking about their latest products as well as what their brand's about. I want to put a face to a brand, face to a name, whatever you want to put it. And so the show's pretty much all about what brands are up to as well as what creators are up to. It's more of a motivational show to be able to show you what everyone is up to, how they're doing it, what they're doing to be able to make it through these difficult times that we're in right now with COVID, and potentially also give you some advice and tips on how to make it, how to be successful in what you're doing. Some of you are going to be using some of the brands that we are talking about. So I have got Nikon coming on, Canon, Fuji, Sony, and all the brands, the camera brands, as well as some of the accessory brands. Like next week, I'm going to be chatting with Kevin Singer from Singer Photographic. He's got brands like Manfrotto, and various different other ones. I'm not going to go through all the brands of there. So that is what the show's about. It's all about inspiration. It's about getting inspirational people, creators, companies, telling you what is the best thing to do right now and where to go. So I hope you enjoyed. Please get involved. Comb your hair. Thanks, Peter. Yapi, good to see you. Thank you so much for letting me know. I'll start putting you on. As you know, this is a one-man band, so I am literally going between the two, the decks, and obviously watching my script. So please forgive me if there's one or two slips, but you guys all know me, so it's all good. All right, so if you do have any questions throughout the show, please do ask me. It's key. I want you to interact. I want you to engage. I want you to enjoy it and learn something from it, especially when we've got international guests on the show, which is an honor for me to have Dru joining us this evening. When I phoned him, and I did an interview with him on the Litra channel, and just such a warm, positive, motivated guy, and I said, no, he has to be on the show. So I'm really excited for his chat after this. So moving on with regards to the show and what we're generally be chatting about, the first thing that we move on to is a little bit of if you are on Instagram, follow me, Through the Lens show. There we're going to have some of the highlights of the creators that are coming on, some of the brand highlights, and you can obviously chat and interact with me there. Then the next thing that we're going to chat about is industry news. Well, so difficult times right now. There's a lot of, can we work? Can't we work? Can we shoot portfolios? Can we do test shoots? And right now, as far as I know, unless someone can obviously send a message or have a comment, and I'm talking about South Africa here, is right now it's all about production based. So if you're shooting for magazines or you're doing some broadcast work, you have to have that. As far as I know, you can't go and do a model portfolio or a shoot like that specifically. But if someone else has got some information with regards to that, solid information, please just message me here so that I can obviously spread the news. So that's the news with regards to industry news. It's not open yet, as far as I know, that you can go out and shoot as you will, when you will, and that kind of thing. Obviously, there is some other things that are going on with regards to the ruling, with regards to level 3 and 4 in the Constitutional Court, but that's where it is right now. So please feel free to let me know with regards to that and what you know. Okay, so next thing that we're going to be chatting about is new and review. So new and review is all about new products on the market, both locally and internationally. Some of these products that I am going to be showing you are not, in theory, available in South Africa. Some of them are, and I will be giving you the information in the comments below. So you'd have to go to YouTube. I've got all the links and lists down below. So whoever I interview, whether it be obviously the product highlight or obviously the brand that I'm interviewing or the creator, I'll have all the details on the YouTube channel down below. All right, so with regards to new and review, I'm going to quickly show you this next item. It's a beautiful item. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. Just have a look and then we'll jump into it. All right, so that is the product new and review. So I've got the C.E.O mic D30 here. I got it all the way from overseas, China. It's a new mic. What I love about products, and it's one of the things I normally, when I get a product, I normally look at it and I see what the packaging's like. So you'll see a beautiful packaging here. As you open it up, you can see its class. You can see that a lot of effort has been put into the make, and the packaging of a product. It's almost like what you're wearing is obviously showing off what you are about. So the beautiful thing with regards to this mic, I haven't really tested it as much yet. I've just got it. So I will give you some more information with regards to it and how it worked out for me. But on the first look, it is looking like it's something great, and I'm really excited to be using this mic and testing it out and giving you a review. So for those reviews, you have to go and look at YouTube. All my product reviews will be going onto YouTube. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be sharing them on Facebook, but it will be on YouTube, so you can go and have a look. So that is C.E.O. Those of you that wanted to know more, C.E.O will be listed on the comments in the YouTube, on my YouTube channel. All right, so moving through that swiftly onto our next topic, which is up and coming rising stars. So those of you that are out there that are new to the industry, you're in college, you're still learning, or you're just generally new to the industry, I want to try and give you a head start with regards to things. Meaning, I want to introduce you to the brands, because there are a lot of the directors of or distributors of brands, as well as some of the international brands that are busy watching this show. And potentially this is your break that you could be on here. So if you want to be able to be on the up and coming rising star slot, make sure you send me some details on what, either it be on Facebook, or you can have a look on my email. It's steven@segalstudios.com. But just connect with me. If you're on Facebook, you'll see in my social media channels, and I will get you on there. So the first person that we're going to be chatting about is Ashley Viera. She is from Open Window. She graduated last year. She's doing great things. She's had a Loeries award and various other different awards. So I'm just going to share her site here so you can have a look. So Ashley Viera. So she's a visual artist, and I love it. This is pretty much where we're going right now. It's all about visual art. So it's a combination of photography, video, graphic design. And I think that's what our art form is about. Those of you that are out there, and I'm sure you can agree with me or not, is that it's all about visual communication. It's about visual art. And obviously, Ashley is one of the ones that we've picked up that is going places, especially with the awards that she's been winning. So well done, Ashley, and all the best. Those of you that want to have a look at Ashley's stuff, there's her website, and I will be listing it on our YouTube channel later. All right, so that is the Rising Star. If you want to be part of it, don't forget to connect with me on YouTube and obviously on my social media channels. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's just see some of the questions that have gone out. Here we go. Mr. Scott Grant is on here. Great. Gant is here. Sorry, not Grant. Scott Gant is on. Peter Morey. Great to see you. Have you? Okay, I better hide that just in case. Then please. Got everyone on here. So I'm just quickly having a look. Marley Victor, loving the blue and red on here. Thank you so much for joining on. Nicolo, great. Thank you so much for joining. There are so many of you on here. Thank you so much, Gareth Barkley. Great to see your name. We're going to be chatting soon, definitely online on the show. Justin, great to see you on here. Yapi. I love Peter Mori. Those of you that are on, Peter's just a character. He's got phenomenal stories. Let me tell you, I can't wait for his channel to come out. He's going to be doing something exciting. We've had a chat the other day. No pressure, Peter, but he's got some amazing stuff coming out, and some of the stories that he's got to tell are phenomenal. All right. So that is my side with regards to that. I do want to move through this fairly quickly. The reason being is that I don't want to be sticking on other things. I want to get into chatting to, obviously, our brands as well as the creator this evening. So next up, we are going to be chatting to Marnix de Lorm, or Max. He has got his company, Max Tech. He's got brands like Litra that we're going to be chatting about tonight, as well as RAM mounts. So I'm really excited to be bringing him on. So Max, I'm just going to welcome you on. How are you?
Good and you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
I love your lighting setup. Hey, what is it with this reds, yellows, blues, hey?
Yeah, you know, we were chatting about this offline. It seems to be the common thing. If you chat to a Litra guy, they have the red and the blue going. You know, it looks good because yellow and green is a bit of a sickly combo.
I love it that you come in with that. So Max, what you up to? How are things going?
Yeah, listen, Steve, it's interesting times that we live in at the moment. Obviously, with COVID in SA, I don't need to preach to the choir on this. We all know that things have been crazy, but it's things are starting to open up, and we certainly starting to get some forward momentum again, which is good to see in light of where we are at the moment.
100%. I mean, you know, there's two schools of thought that's going right now. Some people are saying you have to be going, you have to be motivated, you have to drive, and you have to, you know, push during this hard time. But then there's also the school of thought that also is, you know, this is time obviously to reflect, to, you know, come together and try and strategize where you're going to go. So it's not always about being busy, because we all know when you're rushing to things, what ends up happening. So it's good to hear that. So Max, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you've got a great brand, Litra. I've been using Litra. I love the product. I want to know, so tell me more about Max Tech. Where did you start out, and then when did you pick up Litra? And obviously RAM mounts is another great brand that you have.
Yeah. So Steve, my sort of background has been distribution, importing, marketing, distribution. And you know, you talk about RAM as a brand. We've been doing the RAM product for more than 20 years now, which started off as a really small brand, and now they have more than 7,000 products in their portfolio, and it really is a big internationally recognized brand, and it's been great. We've really enjoyed the ride. When I went over to the States on our last partner conference, pretty much with the exception of the guy who started the company, I was pretty much the guy who'd been involved with the brand the longest, which is okay. Quite interesting. You know, Steve, from my perspective, you know, the ethos has always been along the lines of, you know, eat your own dog food. And by that, I mean, if you know, it's a brand that I've got to get behind, and a brand I believe in, and a brand that I use. And certainly RAM mount started that for me. And it's easy to preach about a brand when you believe in it, and when it's not just another product on the shelf, but it's actually something you use every day. And with that in mind, when I saw the Litra product originally, and we've been involved with Litra now for 2.5, almost 3 years, I guess. It had just come off Kickstarter. You know, Scott and his team had started commercially shipping the product, and I took one look at it, and the photographer part of my brain lit up and said, gee, this looks like a cool product. You know, it's part gadget, it's part light, it's part photography, it's rugged, you know, it's self-contained, it pretty much checked all the boxes from our perspective. And that was the original sort of little torch. I mean, that was this guy over here.
I check you got it there. I love it.
Yeah, you know, that was the first product, and I mean, simple to use. You turn it on, fire it up, and off you go. So it really is a really nice, neat, put together, all-in-one, self-contained package. And Scott and his team have really thought about this carefully. I mean, they've included things like a 1/4 20 mount at the bottom, so you can put it on a tripod. They put a magnet on the back so you can literally go up to a metal surface and slap it on, it'll stay there. And then a whole bunch of mounts for it and whatever. And when I see a product like that, it's something that we really get excited about. And I reached out to Scott and Andrew and said to them, guys, if you're looking for a local distributor, we'd be very keen to take the brand on. And we did that 2.5 years ago, and it's gone from strength to strength. To Scott and his team's credit, we moved from the Litra Torch. They then brought out the bigger brother, the Litra Pro. That's this guy over here. Again, lots of thought has gone into it. This is more aimed at more serious photographers. This particular product can push out 1,200 lumens of very high quality light. And again, if you look at the brand, the important thing if you're a photographer or videographer is you don't want things like color shift on your lights. I don't care if I've turned the lights on and it's cold outside, or whether it's been running for an hour, the color needs to be exactly the same. So you need to have high quality globes. If you're going to shoot at 60 frames a second, you can't start having rolling shutter because there's flicker on the light, which can happen if you start using sort of cheaper products. And again, the Litra brand gets around that by using extremely high quality products, and again in a self-contained package. So the Pro was the first light that allowed us to control the color shift, so we could go from 3,000 Kelvin to 6,000 Kelvin by pressing a couple of buttons. And they also implemented Bluetooth in this light, so we can control it via an app. And the app is extremely easy to use. I'd show it to you, except my phone is doing the video at the moment, so that'll have to wait for another time.
I'm sure Drew's going to help us with that. I'm sure we're going to get Drew. I'm sure
Drew will help us. He'll be along shortly.
There's a question. Obviously, 1,200 lumen on how long on the battery? That's from Peter Mori there.
All right, so Peter, the short answer to that is about 45 minutes if you're running at full power. But having said that, the nice thing about these lights is that I can actually plug in an external battery pack. There's a micro USB connector on the side over here, which I'll open if I can get through the weatherproof seal, which is always fun. And because it's micro USB, I can pretty much use, sorry, there we go. So if you have a look over there, there's the micro USB on the side over there. I can plug a micro USB cable in there. I can plug it into my external battery pack, and I can keep shooting. So I can keep shooting all day on these lights as long as I've got a micro USB cable and a battery pack. And if I stop shooting, they'll obviously keep charging, and we can keep going. So they really are self-contained. And if you're running at 100% power, I mean that's quite a lot of power that you're pushing out 1,200 lumens.
No, 100%.
So it's fairly big, and obviously the latest big news, Steve, is that there's now the Litra Studio, which has come out, which is very much aimed at professional photographers, and that's a whole new ball game. We've got a light that now pushes out 3,000 lumens in continuous light. We can flash it using a sync cable at 6,000 lumens. We support 10 million colors. It's kind of everything you can imagine. And it's still mil spec, so 810G mil spec. You can drop it. I read a comment on someone's site a couple of days ago. This thing is built like a tank, and I think that sums it up beautifully. It really is. It's you feel it in your hands, and you kind of think, if anything happens, I could use this as a weapon to beat someone to death. So it really is a proper feeling piece of kit, and very much aimed at the pro photographers. I mean, currently it's lighting me over here, and this key light I think is set at the moment at about 5% power, and that's sort of my front light over here. So really, really very, very powerful. The studio's got the added advantage that we've got replaceable batteries in terms of the fact that the batteries are rechargeable, but you can pull them up and swap them out. But also, to go back to Maury's question, if you do run out of battery power, you plug your USB-C cable in from an external battery bank or wall power, and you can keep shooting.
Okay, no, 100%. That's great. Tell me, with regards to it, I wanted, you know what? Sorry, I was just looking at the comments here, and it's I don't know if you can hear. I'm getting comments running through here with regards to.
We can't hear them. No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, no, because it's just cling, cling every 2 seconds. It's coming through. You'll see it. Okay, great. Thanks, Peter. He's happy with that. And Peter, you're allowed to ask any questions. Go for it. I love it. This is open forum. You're allowed to ask and where it is. So, Max, with regards to obviously the studio, I mean, I am using one over here, and it's with the show, the whole idea with the show, and you'll see that there's no branding on it. When the invites go out and when the stuff is, it's not, I'm as neutral as I can with regards to everything, but it's also real to life. And I must admit, I'm using the studio now with regards to it and some of the others, and it's just phenomenal that you can have that RGB side of things and the power and the saturation. So I'm really impressed with the light, but this is not for me to obviously promote it, but it's just, I have to say it. If it's right, it's right. It looks amazing and it works phenomenally. So congratulations on that, and well done on a great product. I'm also what I'm interested about and what I'm impressed about is that Scott did, Kickstarter is a phenomenal place to pick it up and where it's gone and how it's gone. And well done on picking up such an amazing brand. Tell me, for the future with regards to it, I see Martini's on, and I know she's an avid user. The future with regards to Litra, where can we get Litra, or where can the people get Litra before I move on to Dru?
Yeah, Steve. Litra is available from the sort of the bigger photography shops.
Sorry, Peter Mori.
We can't swap for cigarettes. They're not that expensive, hey, Peter. we take kidneys, I'm afraid. So Steve, the short answer is that they're available from the likes of Outdoor Photo, Orms, and those sorts of guys. You can also find more information, pricing on our website, which is MaxTech, www.maxtech.co.za. Those are probably your best three options.
Here we go. Share MaxTech. I've got it on here. So those of you that want to go have a look. Okay, and you've got Polar Pro and the other brands that you've got here. All right, so go and have a look there for sure. Great. No, pleasure. So that's if you want to get hold of them. Those of you that do want to go and have a look at Litra, because I'm going to move on to Dru now. I'm sorry for the short session. I want to keep it short, sweet, and to the point, and wanting people more. Perfect. Just have a look here at Litra.com. I'm going to share the Litra.com page as well. So those of you that are out there that want to go and have a look, here it is here. And go and have a squiz at what it looks like. Yeah, go for it.
Steve, sorry, you can also find litra.co.za. We have sort of product information, and then if you sort of click on, if you're keen to buy, it'll click through as well. So that's probably the easiest link to remember is litra.co.za. Okay,
cool. I'm just going to type it in here so we can get it. Litra.co.za, sorry. And then it comes up. All right, so those of you that are out there, cool, great. There it is there. So that's obviously through to Max. Okay, I love the website, looking great. And all these awards, phenomenal. All right.
Every time Litra bring out a new light, we seem to get a host of awards for it. So again, congratulations to Scott and his team. They're doing a great job.
That's great. What I love to see is I love it that, and I thank you though, Max. The show is just starting out. And I'm relying a lot on the people, the friends of mine, the brands, to be able to push the show, to be able to get that force and to get those people, to get people involved. And I really do appreciate it. And I thank you for pushing the show link out to everyone. So I thank you both, Litra Local and International, for doing that. I really appreciate it. It's great to see Scott also getting involved. Scott was on now earlier sending messages. So it's great to see when a company, right from the CEO to everyone that's involved, getting involved. So thank you and well done. I love it, and thank you for your time tonight.
Pleasure, Steve. Thanks very much for having us.
Great, and I'll chat to you again soon.
Indeed.
Awesome.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. All right, so those of you that are there, that was Marnix de Lorm. He is the CEO of MaxTech right here in South Africa, the distributors for Litra, as well as Ram Mount, Polar Pro, and various other different brands. So if you'd like to find out more about the Litra product, obviously that was under Brand Spotlight. Give him a shout. Go and look at litra.co.za. Big thank you for joining me on this show this evening. Now, with regards to it, to those of you that are out there, this show, and those of you that have just joined, because I see a whole bunch of people have just joined, it's all about obviously putting a face to the brand. So you don't just see Litra, or you don't just see Nikon, Canon, Sony, Fuji, and all those brands. And you are now seeing the heads of the companies, the marketing, the people that are choosing what happens and how it happens with regards to the company. I'm bringing the brands to you, and please feel free to ask questions, just like Peter did, absolutely. But also the same thing with the creators. You'll see the questions that I'm going to be asking are different to typical, how do you create, what do you create, etc. So it's more about finding more about the person behind the creator. And then obviously once you find that, you can grow and learn in line with those steps, and you understand more about it, not just being about shutter speed, aperture, and ISO or lighting. It's all about, you know, what drives that person. So that's what brings me up, obviously, with our next creator. I'm really excited to have him join us. Dru Williams is out in Utah in the States. He's an award-winning cinematographer, numerous awards he's won. I'm going to show you his show reel, and I'm going to let him tell you more about himself. But before we even get him onto the show, because some of the guys get a little bit shy with regards to this, his show reel is phenomenal. So I'm going to play it now. So just give me 2 seconds to pull that on now, and let me pull this branding off here, and let's go into his show reel here. Give me a second. There it is. Act, share. Yeah. All right, so I don't know if you could hear that. Let me just check this out. Did you all hear that? I don't know if you heard it. Just give me a heads up. I don't know if the sound was playing through. New comments here. No sound. Peter Mori, oh, no ways. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not too sure why the sound wasn't going through. Those of you, I apologize. There was some kind of technical on that side, but I will sort that out, and let's jump into chatting to Dru right now. So apologies, Dru, but welcome to the show. How are you doing?
What's up, man? Good, man. How are you doing? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm so
Awesome.
Sorry. I don't know what happened when there was no sound. Sorry, I got a message from, what's it called? Max just said no sound. Sorry, guys. But we will do more, and I will post the link here for them to go and have a look. So
no problem. It's a silent film. It's a silent film. It's I'm taking it back, so it's all good.
Oh, you're a legend. No, thank you so much. You know, it's all part of the fun, especially when you're trying to get the show going and then you don't have sound, because it's so impactful. And I mean, sound, I was chatting about Synco mics, and people don't understand, you know, what sound can do with regards to a show. So it's a powerful show reel, and I'm going to definitely drop the link in below. So those of you that are watching, please go and have a look at his show reel. It's absolutely phenomenal. And obviously the next thing that I'm going to be showing you might not have sound, so we'll double check, which is a drone reel. we'll talk about that a little bit later. You see, Marley and all my friends are already laughing at me. So what can we do?
It's all good, man. It's live. If it was perfect, we could edit it, right? But we're live, and that's just expected.
Well, that's the whole thing, and that's why I wanted us to go live on these things. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, live!" And everything's edited nowadays in the world. It's everything. All the answers are edited. Everything. So I want it to be as real as possible. If I mess up, I mess up. If we mess up, we mess up. But it's all about having fun. Yeah, let's do it. So, Dru, talk to me a little bit more. I mean, so there was no sound, so they couldn't hear, what was, where you started and how you started. Tell me more about, your life and growing up. And it was in the show reel, but you're going to have to talk now.
No, of course. Yeah, it kind of started out, you saw like some old vintage footage, right, of when I was a kid. Yeah. And there was a gentleman in there that my brother and I went up, kissed on the cheek. That was actually my grandfather. So my grandfather actually built and repaired cameras and TVs at RCA. He worked for RCA. That's why you saw the RCA ad in there with the two dogs. So he always had these cameras laying around. And when we were kids, he would always continuously film us, and we were putting on shows and, beating each other up, as you saw. And there was a clip there of a drive-in movie theater, and that was where he used to take us. And that was where I fell in love with film and movies. So I absolutely, that was a huge part of my life, and I'm super blessed to have that in my life at such an early influence, because to me, he was doing the right thing. He always had cameras lying around. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to take those cameras and play with them myself. So when I started snowboarding, I've been involved in the snowboard industry for a long time and did that as a career as well. And I was always the guy filming snowboarding. My friends were filming. So we always had cameras lying around. So I always had, video as a backup. So once you hit a certain age, I'm now 30. Actually, I turned 31 2 days ago. Wow. Yikes. But now I'm 31 and snowboarding, I still do that for fun. But now I'm full-time videographer. Yeah. Cinematographer.
And I tried snowboarding. I was with a previous company in action sports, and we went, it was Spy Optic glasses.
Yeah, sure.
And Dru took me up to go snowboarding. Oh my gosh, I couldn't. It was so difficult, and you wear things that pretty much I look like I look now, but I had padding on. This is a different type of padding, and you fall down, and you kind of go like, okay, how the hell do I get up? And once you get up, you just fall this way. So,
well, I grew up in an area where there was a ski resort really close to my house. I didn't grow up in Salt Lake. I grew up in Indiana, and believe it or not, there is 1 or 2 ski resorts in Indiana. One happened to just be in my backyard, and I worked there throughout high school. I really, found myself as an individual doing that. Everyone else was playing a lot of team sports, and I could go up there with my video cameras and that my grandpa had lying around, or we would update them as new ones would come out, and that's really where it all started for me, as far as an individual and figuring out what I wanted to do at an early age.
I see Ranesh. Belated happy birthday, Dru.
Ranesh, thanks so much, man. Appreciate that.
When did you say it was?
It was June 7th, so it was a couple of days ago, last Sunday.
Jeez. Sorry, I missed it. Happy birthday. At least now we've got a present for you. So tell me, so you were typically the kid that, everyone else is going and playing sports. You would do the sports thing, but you'd pull out your camera and shoot. And do you think that's where the drive became? Did everyone know you as the guy that takes video? Or how did it grow and manifest into, what you're doing today from a young age?
Yeah, no. So, to answer your question, I think shortly, yes. But what kind of happened is, I had friends who were snowboarding with me as well, but I could use them filming me, and I would use those as like sponsor videos and things like that, because I rode for a handful of different companies. And, so we would, toss the camera back and forth, and that was just a really, creative and it was a creative way for me to express myself, really. And I did go to school. I went to college. I got a bachelor's degree in film and telecommunications, mainly production design, and there was an emphasis on business as well there. So then in 2012, I graduated in 2012, and as soon as I moved out to Salt Lake to continue snowboarding and do film, I established my own business, 43 Productions.
Wow, that's insane. But tell me, obviously, and I quickly just want to say hi to Gareth joining us. Thank you so much for joining. So with regards to it, studying, a lot of the time people look at it and go, should we study? Shouldn't we study? How many people ask us about, where we've got our degrees from and where we went to study? Do you find that studying gave you a better grounding with regards to the work you did? I mean, compared to some of the other guys that are, YouTube videographers, cinematographers, etc., or self-taught?
Yeah, my times have changed in, the last 5 or 6 years. I host a podcast called the Take 43 podcast. You guys can look that up if you're interested. And we are one of our latest episodes was, film school versus YouTube. And we came to the conclusion that they're incomparable, right? But there's no wrong, there's no right. It's whatever is best for you. I do think that I really enjoyed my experience at IU. I really did. I loved the experience. I was from a small town, so to go up there and just be in a bigger setting with more people, it really was a unique way of learning. And now there were classes that I don't think I needed to take, and I ended up having to take them. But I don't think there's a right or wrong. I will say I always ask my boss when I used to work for firms and marketing firms and things. I worked for backcountry.com right out of college as a videographer for them making their commercials. And, I quit there, got laid off actually. And then I went to another marketing firm, got laid off. And that's just kind of where I realized, I don't think it's about the degree. It's more about the show reel. And that's why I put so much time into the one that you were showing there. And I came to the realization that it's really about yourself, and it's about, it's about what you know and how you can create. I don't think there's any better experience than being on set, and whether that's you're there for free to run coffee or get paid minimum wage, just the experience and hands-on experience is the most important part of that. So to answer your question, I think if I could do it now, I would probably skip those 4 years and just go straight into it. But at the time, I think it was the best thing for me. Yeah.
It's interesting that, and I mean, everything shapes the way you are and what you are nowadays. I mean, I've been giving some advice, and I do some talks with regards to people that are in university and going to uni and college and that kind of thing. And while you're on that study time, I mean, I kind of was in business since I was, I think, 13 years old from my father, and the networking opportunities, if you do it right, and the cost you produce. I mean, I don't know if in your faculties and with your stuff you had cameras available and gear available to use, for your studies. Did you have that?
Yeah, we did. And that was a really cool part about the entire thing, right? Was, my grandpa actually, I didn't mention this, but he passed away in 2001. And that was way too early. I was very young. So those cameras and those things that I was used to at a young age, I didn't get that throughout high school, right? So having that equipment in college later was a great thing. It also motivated me. You could rent the studio and you could do studio space. There was big cranes, and I got to know the professors very well, and not to become like a class pet or anything like that, or any brown nosing, but I definitely made friends with the professors and was able to borrow that equipment and do that thing. You were actually, as long as you were in the telecommunications program, you could borrow that equipment, but I might have got a couple of extra studio hours there when I shouldn't have, which was good though. So it was worth it, man. You got to work the system.
That is the thing. That is exactly it. You're working the system. I mean, talking about working the system and going from, what I see in a lot of the time is that break. Where did you find that break? Because our industry is not the easiest to be in right now, and there's everyone. I mean, anyone that picks up a camera or picks up a mobile phone nowadays, obviously as well, are creators, are content creators, and some of the people make it, some of them don't, and some of the people you kind of go like, how did they make it? What do you find being your defining step that kind of set you in your way, and you started getting bookings, and what was that defining step that you think drove you or actually made you succeed?
Well, I'm always that type of person that looks towards the next thing. So everything that I do currently, it feels like a learning experience, and I take it to apply it to the next thing. So I did 2 years at backcountry.com, traveled around, got to work with big athletes and do things like that. That felt good. And then I worked for a marketing firm, got to work with even bigger brands, and we produced some really cool content that I'm very proud of. A lot of that content was in that reel. But for me, that defining moment, what's that? What were you going to say?
What I wanted to try and get, sorry, and I'm cutting you in and stuff, is that, I mean, you worked with top athletes, but how do you work with them? Like, that's, I think, what I also want to try and get across to the guys is that, like everyone wants to work, let's say, and do guest work, or they want to go and work with a company or pro athletes or rock stars and stuff like that. But like, how did you get those athletes and how did you get those big brands? Was it a lot of persistence, or did you tag in people, or did you go and knock on their door and say, hey, I'm not leaving here until we shoot?
Well, a lot of stuff is, to answer the question before, I found that break in the last 2 years. And this kind of molds into your next question. I found that break in the last 2 years when my job started going, and I'm not going to number drop here, but when they started going from the $200 and $500 jobs to the $5,000 jobs, and then they keep multiplying and multiplying, right? So that's when you don't have to ask for more, and then you're like, okay, here's my reel, or here's what I've done, and then they're coming to you and they don't mind paying the right price. That's when I started feeling a little bit of because I'm hard on myself. I'm a critic, man. I don't like my own work, and I know we all are. That's just part of what we do, right? And when you start getting validation from other companies and they start coming to you, that's really, it felt like a pat on the shoulder. It really felt like that I was starting to make my way into the industry, maybe say that. Now, to answer your second question, I was an athlete myself in the snowboard industry. So I knew a handful of these guys, and then I skateboarded a lot. I rode motocross. So everything that I'm filming, maybe we have to go out to a location that's on the top of a mountain, and we have to hike for 2 hours, and it's really high elevation. We're up 10,000 feet. I've done that in the past. So I didn't go and knock on anyone's doors, but I have connections in these brands that have access to these athletes, and I can keep up with them with a camera. So it's a really cool thing and dynamic to have. And I feel very lucky to accomplish that at an early age and then be able to apply that to my job now. And then I just saw that Instagram handle pop up. It's actually Dru T43. So if you want to check that out, feel free to, but I just want to make sure you guys know that.
Yeah, please. Sorry.
You're good, man. You're a one-man band. You need a producer in the corner, like chatting and typing away.
Wait, there we go. I've done it. I've changed it. Let's check that. Yeah.
But I hope that answers your question. I think for me, it was just, everything's a learning experience, and being able to apply that to the next thing is really something that's important. Look at that. That's it. Go check it out. Not yet. Yeah. Listen now and then check it out later.
Those of you that are out there, please, if you want to ask Dru any questions, ask him. While we've got him on the show, I definitely want to use him to help us as well, but obviously get his insights with regards to his industry and what he's doing. So, pretty much, your network, how much do you value your network, and how much do you think your network is worth with regards to your business and where you are right now?
I don't know about putting in, how much it's worth and everything, but I'm very thankful just from what I've learned and who the people I've got to work with over the last years, because I've done jobs where I did a job last year where I actually didn't get paid anything and I spent all day on set. But guess what? I was working with Jackie Chan, and that was amazing. So, there's little things like that you can't define worth. And what that did was it now gave me access to the Jackie Chan group, and I'm in contact with those people. So it's one of those things where there's these little moments in time where you get that call and you say, hey, they were in for Sundance Film Festival. This was not last January, the January before. And he has a new art exhibit. We want to cover that. The news is there, but you guys have exclusive access with the Jackie Chan group. So there's these little things that add value to what you do. And then you just take those and you apply. Because I can't stress how important connections are in this industry. That is what this whole thing's about. That's how I got involved with Litra. I had a connection in their marketing industry. They sent me lights. I took some cool photos. They loved them. And then they saw me at all of these trade shows, networking with people. And then it became serious. They knew I had a passion for it. So to answer your question, I don't have a value, but I feel like every step is value, if that makes sense.
No, I agree with you. Absolutely. The thing is that, and it's this always free or paid, and should I do it if it's, am I devaluing the industry? And, I came in with the thing, and I pretty much believe there's value in, as long as there's value to you, whether it's mental value that you're learning or you're networking, as long as there's that kind of value, then that's what you should be doing, and that's how you should be doing it. So, and tell me, with regards to your show reel, I mean, when you put your show reels together, because obviously that's your shop front, that's who you are as an artist, as a creator. I mean, how much time do you put into creating your show reels?
Oh man, I can't tell you how many versions of what you were watching earlier I had done in the prior years, because to be honest, I haven't done a full show reel since 2015, and the reel that you just showed actually came out about a month and a half or two ago. So that's 5 years worth of work. Now, I did release a drone reel in 2018 that was all specific to drone, and I'm really excited to announce that I just won my first gold telly last week for the drone reel, which is pretty cool. I'm really excited about that. Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm really stoked on that, and I'm, a lot of hard work goes into that stuff. You travel around, and I'm lucky to live in a beautiful place where I can shoot that type of stuff. But to answer that question, I think the amount of time I put into that reel until it was done, luckily I had some downtime, I should say. I take the downtime as a blessing, and I obviously with everything going on, that's not, that kind of stinks, but it did allow me to utilize that time and put out the new reel. To answer your question, man, I would say between gathering footage from hard drives over the last 5 years, to sourcing those files, to getting sound effects, there's like 5 different songs. Thank you, Epidemic Sound, for allowing me to use all of that. They're great people. I want to say a month and a half or two. Too long.
Wow. No, well, what's interesting is that, and I'm guilty of it as well, is you kind of go, I'm so busy doing this, and you put so much effort in, obviously, into the work that you're getting paid to do, and then it's you kind of go, the show reel, I can do it later, and I'll roll off one client to the next client, but there does come that point where you kind of go, okay, there's no clients, now what? And then you kind of throw something together.
Yeah, the show reel is your ticket to the next ride, man. So like, you get this show reel, that is your resume as a creator. If you're wanting to go do work for someone, you show them that, or you show similar work within, that industry. So for either it's commercial work or short films that we've created in the past. We have a lot of short films. If you guys check out my YouTube channel, you'll see some. And those are the things that allow you onto the next ride. So I always say that's your ticket. You just went to the ticket booth, you bought your ticket, here's the ticket, hand it to the attendant, and enjoy the next ride, because that is something that everyone is looking for. So if you don't have a show reel, I highly suggest making a show reel. If it's not something you're fully proud of, release a shorter version and then apply it to the next one. So yeah, here's the drone reel that just won the non-broadcast craft aerial cinematography gold telly last week.
I'm just going to see. Tell me if there's sound, if you can hear anything.
I do not hear anything right now, Steve.
I don't know why it's not playing any sound. Anyway, okay. So we're going to leave it at that. Ladies and gents, those of you that have joined, I've put the showreel link for Dru's drone showreel that won an award, Telly Award. They're gold, at won gold. So you can go and have a look. Here is his YouTube, so you can go and have a look at that. And yeah, that's what I wanted to show them. Sorry, getting back to it.
No, you're cool, man. Yeah, I don't have a ton of YouTube subscribers right now. I'm just now getting to the point where I'm pushing stuff on YouTube. I was very commercial. Yeah, you got more than me. That was very much commercial content driven. And I found that if you just put that on YouTube, no one cares about that. So I'm figuring out ways and talking with people and figuring out the best solution for my channel right now. And it's a lot of work, and I'm doing other commercial work right now. I'm editing a music video, but just finding the right amount of time and the right way to approach the YouTube channel is something I'm working on.
I love it. I'm actually just putting up the links here. So those of you that are reading in the comments, I'm just putting them up so you can go and have a look. So I've just put the showreel up there so you can go and have a look. It's on YouTube. Then obviously here, 43 Productions, so you can go and have a look at Dru's production side of things. So with regards to it, and I mean, COVID's hitting the world quite hard right now. How are you finding it over there in the States?
It's here. It's here for sure. I hate it. I hate it for anyone. I hate it for small businesses. I hate it for anyone who's had to stay closed. For me personally, I've used this time, like I said, to create the show reel that I did a month or so ago. I've been, not traveling. A lot of my jobs have been canceled. I did end up shooting a music video 2 weeks ago, which was really fun. It was a very small micro crew. I just had my assistant with me and the artist and the talent, and we wore masks and we were very careful. And it's just one of those things where if you don't have it, I just don't let it get you down. Don't let it get you down. Use this time to put your energy into something positive or creative. And if someone is struggling or has has symptoms, do what you can to help them at a distance. But this is a good time for you to think of yourself in a creative form and apply that knowledge to what you love to do, for sure.
No, I love that advice. And I mean, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you, advice with regards to creators. I mean, and moving forward with regards to what is your plans for post-COVID? I mean, are you going to be staying in Utah? Are you happy you set, or are you looking at doing a whole lot more once the travel ban gets lifted?
Well, I was going to go to Belfast in September for Power of Video again. I spoke there last year with all those guys and all those creators, which is really, really, a really great experience. You're still working with Litra. I do the creative corner with, I think it's called the creative. Yeah, because this is creative corner. Yeah. This is creative corner. That's where I got confused. Yeah, it's called Litra. You did steal it. You're a thief. No, but so I do that every Thursday. I'm still creating content for them currently, but within the confinements of my own home. I built a new studio, so I've been having fun hanging out in there. And I'm editing a music video right now, like I just said, that we shot. And then hopefully, travel picks up and things get back to normal and we can all be as safe as possible and continue doing what we love to do. That's what it's all about, is staying happy. And then using that, again, just using that as an experience and a learning experience and applying it to the next thing. I think that's the most important thing you can do in this industry.
I agree with you totally. Two last questions. It's kind of off the flow of what I was wanting to chat to you about. But when you go into production, you get contracted out into the production, like how do you go about costing it? Like, how do you look at costing it? Do you have a set cost or an hourly rate that you've worked out? Because it's something that a lot of the photographers and videographers that watch this show, they create these creators create these beautiful productions, but then they kind of want to know like dollars, rand, cents, currency.
Yeah.
Go in and cost it. Do you have you calculated your hourly rate or daily rate, and then you pretty much go from there?
There's a lot of variables to that. I got this same question asked to me on the panel at Power of Video last year in Belfast, and I don't have a solid answer for you, but I can tell you what I've done in the past, and it's been seeming to work okay. You have a meeting with your client. You get to know them very well. You get to talk to them. You get to know them on almost a personal level, because if it's through my business, I'm essentially selling myself as well as my product and my service, right? So you get to know them. Study the company. Don't study the person necessarily, but look at the videos they've had in the past. Look at their YouTube channel if they have one. If they don't, then you can start from scratch. From there, you can figure out you can even figure out what the company's worth on a lot of sites, depending on who you're working for and how big they are. Do a lot of that. Do a lot of questioning yourself. Don't be right out of the meeting, be like, here, it's X amount of dollars for this, because there's a good chance they're going to come at you with more work, right? You have that first general meeting, you start expressing ideas, you put ideas up on the board. There's a good chance that that's either going to multiply, especially if they like you. They might, oh, we need photos too. Oh, okay, well, cool. That's fine. We can do that. But don't throw out a number right off the bat. Do some research. Start really knowing, maybe maybe 2 or 3 meetings until you actually throw out a bid. You get to feel the company. You get those out. And then I also said on the panel, one of the things I said was, bid multiple tiers. So you can say tier 1 will get you X, and here's what we can do. Tier 2 will get you this for this price. Tier 3 will get you this. And, have those itemized listed out and make sure that it's very clear in what they're going to get. And then if they'll come back with questions, and then they'll say, hey, you know what, after looking at this, we really could use more graphic work or a logo slate bumper introduction type of thing, right? So maybe that doesn't come with tier 3, but that came in tier 1, and then that's also quadruple the amount of money. So do multiple tiers if it's necessary. Get to really know your client, get to really know the business, and don't throw a number out right off the bat. Really do your research, and as part of a creator, that is our job. So don't undervalue yourself. That's one of the big things, especially if you're just starting out. Maybe you didn't go to film school, but you do great work, and your YouTube channel might not have a lot of subscribers, but your work is awesome. Like, don't undervalue yourself based on numbers, based on your past. Value yourself on what is currently going on and what they are needing. And I think that'll help you guys out in the long run.
No, I appreciate that. And I mean, when we look at these kind of things, we kind of go, this is what's happening in South Africa or in my region or in my country, but it's a global thing. It's something that we all have to look at. We all have to, fight around, and especially when there's so many of us in the industry and so many people offering. But I think that's great advice with regards to it. Just before I move on and ask you the next question, I just want to see those of you that are out there, please feel free to ask Dru any questions while he is on here. We've got him for a little time. It's so interesting because when I do that and it's funny, Dru, and I have to raise it, there's a lot of people, unfortunately, around the world losing their jobs, can't find work. And, I put it out on my Facebook, I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago. And I said, hey, guys, is anyone interested in potentially doing something during this lockdown? Is anyone interested and excited and wanting to do? And funny enough, I got over 100 comments, and I was like, oh, that's great. So we're going to have a great, creators group or group of people that we can start off with. And I arranged the meeting, and I think there was 10 people that actually joined the meeting out of everyone that was so motivated. And then I kind of go, well, how desperate are people? How desperate are you to succeed and to get involved? And then out of that also, there were some people that weren't too sure, and, do we do this? Don't we do that? So it's just interesting to see the drive of some people, and I love your drive and what you're doing, and I'm well done. I mean, I can see why you're doing well and why your business is successful. So last one before we go into it, I wanted to ask you. So I want to just get the social links we've already talked about. So just throw out your social links again so everyone can make sure. So it's 43 Productions, Dru T at Dru T43 on Instagram, 43 Productions on YouTube.
Yep, and then 43productions.com is my website, and my personal Instagram is a little bit more active than my 43 Productions Instagram, but feel free to add that. But it's DRUT43, like Dru 43, and my website, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel if you can. It's just youtube.com/c/43 Productions. That's the number 43. And but onto your point there, really quick, Steve, and then we can move on. That is why I named that reel The Act of Doing. And you've heard Peter McKinnon talk about the act of doing before, but he expressed it in his own way. But I can't tell you how important that is. There's so many ideas that you can have. There's so many things you want to do, but until you do them and apply yourself and apply it to anything, nothing's going to get done. So for me, that show reel is why I called that The Act of Doing, was because this is where it started. You saw me as a child. Does commercial work, you see the travel, you see the result, right? So and the thing is I'm not done. Like, that's just the start. So it's the act of doing, and it's very, very important that just because you say something, you act on it. So that was just to your point about 100 people reaching out and only 10 joining. Your 10% there that joined you was the doers, man. Those are the doers, and those are the people that are going to succeed, and the people that are going to apply themselves.
100%. I've got one last question. We're going to be signing off, but before we do that, my question here from Renish is, what are the basics that you consider before making a show reel? Is it only just beautiful shots or more?
Great question, man. So if you go back and look at my 2015 reel, that's a lot of eye porn is what I call it. It's just very, very pretty, beautiful shots, right? So there's nothing wrong with that type of reel. It's almost like a montage reel. You get a song that you can license, that you love, that it really, expresses the mood, and then you put a bunch of beautiful shots in a row, and then you make your cuts and you're good. What I wanted to do with this new show reel, The Act of Doing, was I wanted to tell a story. I wanted to say, and there's a lot of voiceover throughout that whole thing, and it cuts down. There's multiple tracks, there's multiple songs, there's sound effects. The drone reel that, if you guys want to watch that just won the telly, I guarantee you anyone can fly a drone. I just happen to live in a beautiful area, and I just happen to do a lot of sound design with that. So everything has natural sound, right? So kind of a montage reel, but there's sound effects, because a lot of people, they might know, but they might not. Drones don't capture sound. Otherwise, you just hear the whole time. So so applying those and going the extra step in a show reel is very, very important. If you feel like mentally when you're making that reel that it's just not where it needs to be, try changing the song, try adding sound effects, try adding narrative, try expressing yourself. This is your reel. Like, this is you. This is your resume. I don't hand anyone a resume, a paper resume, like anyone else in the other industries do. You say, here's my link, check it out, and then hopefully that gets you somewhere. So there are many ways to do it, to answer your question, and it needs to be what feels right for you. I just waited long enough, and I was lucky enough to have some of that archive footage from when I was a child, and I created it into a narrative, and it's very much a story. It's very much a story about my life.
I love it. And I love the stories. I mean, that's what people are after. And that's why obviously we're doing these live things, is people are wanting to feel people. And I mean, if anything, I've noticed the world's become very sensitive with regards to things and how people are interacting and brands and companies are interacting. So I love it that you did that. So the last question before you go, it seems a little bit weird, and I'll leave it on an interesting note. And we've had some interesting answers. So I want to ask you, I need you to have one word that describes yourself, one color that describes yourself, and an animal that would pretty much describe who you are. So a word, color, and an animal.
Sporadic. I would say sporadic.
Got it.
And then an animal. Man, everyone's into tigers these days from Tiger King, so I'm not going to say that. I'm obsessed with my dog, so I'll say dog. I know it's not crazy or exotic, but I love the dog. And I love the color blue, but I'm going to say black, because that's like the only color shirts I wear are black.
I love it. Okay. So you said the first one, your word that describes you was? Sorry?
Sporadic.
Sporadic. So we got a sporadic black dog. That is your new stage name. So I create stage names. Sporadic black dog is your new stage name. It's actually quite cool. The last one we had was passionate pink elephant. What's one of the previous?
That's the exact opposite of what I am, a passionate pink elephant. I'm a sporadic black dog. That's over here, and this is over here,
I love it. No, sorry. So I've got your new stage name. So next time we have a chat with you, I'm going to be using that as your new stage name. No, I'm just joking. But
I'll take it.
And own it. That's the best thing. Dru, thank you so much for your time, man. What time is it over there, by the way?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm actually on the East Coast right now, visiting my family. I drove over to visit my family for a couple days. So heading back to Utah really soon. So right now it is 2:35 p.m., so not bad. But back home where I am, it would be noon. It'd be 12:35. So this was perfect, man. And then it's probably a little bit later over there in Africa, South Africa, right?
Yeah, it's 8:30 p.m. in the evening. So
yeah, it's not too bad, man. I really appreciate you having me on. If anyone has questions, please follow me on whatever, or just hit me up. I'm always happy to answer questions, and I've not done everything perfectly, so trial and error all the way. And I always say there's 5 P's. It's the 5 P's of life. If I could give you those in a nutshell, it would be preparation prevents piss poor performance. So if you prepare, it prevents piss poor performance. The 5 P's.
I love it. I love it. That is great advice. I absolutely love it. Dru, thank you so much. I mean, we all stay in contact. We've got some things that we're going to be chatting about offline as well. Here we go. It's from Nepal. I mean, I must just say, Ranesh, thank you so much for joining. 12:20 midnight here in Nepal. Thank you for the beautiful conversation. Absolutely. I wish you all the best, and please reach out to us. I mean, we'd love to help, as you can see, from both sides, whatever we can do to help with regards to your creation side of things.
Thank you, Ranesh. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Ranesh.
I really, really appreciate it. Well, Dru, all the best. That's out. Thank you for your time, Cham. You've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes. Your family's going to want you really bad. So thank you so much. All the best that side, and we'll see you again. You've got a Litra. When's your Litra on Thursday?
So tomorrow we're going live with Graham Sheldon on Instagram. We do all Litra's Instagram. It's just Litra. I think it's just Litra Gear or just at Litra on Instagram. And yeah, we have our lives at, I think it's at noon tomorrow on Pacific time.
Okay, great. Yeah, so, I got it. Yeah, that's it. So you guys can go and have a look here. I'm just going to quickly share it while we've got you on. Anyway, there it is. Yeah. Let's share Chrome, and that's it. So you'll be over here on doing the live. There it is.
Yeah,
there.
So we got there on that first photo there, that's Graham Sheldon. He is a Emmy award-winning, that was hard, tongue twister. Yeah. And he's also a Telly Award winner. He's an amazing director, DP, director of photography. He's an amazing producer as well. So I'm really excited to chat with him. He was on our podcast as well. If you guys are creatives and you like listening to podcasts, if you go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it's the Take 43 podcast. And that is me and my co-host Aaron. And we talk about everything production. We give out hints. We have really good guests on. So Graham was our guest last time, a few weeks ago. And please hit that up, follow, subscribe, like, tweet, do whatever the heck you got to do to stay happy. And we really appreciate it. Awesome. Thanks, Martini. Appreciate that.
Great, Scott. Joe, thank you, Gareth, for joining in for so long. Thank you very, very much, all of you. Thank you, Drew. Have a great one. All the best. Until next time, stay safe. Keep creating.
Keep smiling. Keep smiling, brother. Appreciate your time.
I'll do it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate everyone's time. Thank you. Talk soon, then.
Bye. All right. So those of you that are out there, that was Dru Williams, phenomenal content creator. Cine, he knows what it's about. He's done phenomenal stuff. And if you ever look at, obviously, his awards, his show reel, you'll see what he's about. Now, those of you that are out there that I know, again, it's an hour long. Guys, I really do. I know I wanted to get it within 30 minutes to be able to get short and sweet and to the point. But I'd really love to have your feedback with regards to it. I mean, 30 minutes is in and out, but you would have seen the amount of information and what we get given by these creators, by these brands are priceless. And I just don't want to cut it. I want to make sure that you guys are getting it. Scott, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for the great product that you have. So those of you that are out there, I'd love to get your feedback. Just let me know. Do you think we should push it to 30 minutes? How's the time for you all that are out there? I want to make sure that the show really starts growing, and I need your help. It's pretty much up to you to decide how the show does. It's about you commenting, about you getting engaged, about you sharing this with friends, family, and the rest of the industry. In theory, it's all about Gareth. Thank you so much. Gareth Barkley, phenomenal content creator as well. I can't wait to have you on. So thank you so much for joining on. There we go, Marley. So guys, I do appreciate your time. I thank you for joining in. I'm going to try and get as much insights into the local industry as well as the international industry, because let's face it, right now we're part of a global community. Everything's going online. You'll see shoots, productions have changed. I mean, I've been talking to some of the casting directors, some of the production houses, both locally and internationally, and things are definitely going to change. So those of you that are out there that are watching, whichever country you're in, online is where it's going, and make sure you're ahead of the curve. And that's what this show is about. It's about trying to get you ahead of the curve, seeing what the top creators are doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and how they're getting in ahead. Thank you so much, Yapi, another great supporter. Thank you very, very much. So please give me some feedback. Let me know. Next week, we are going to be chatting to Grant Norton. He is the CEO of Premium Brand Distributors. That is Nikon and Sony. So we're going to talk about premium group or premium brand distributors. He's going to tell us a little bit more about the Nikon and Sony. We will break it down into separate Nikon and Sony talks separately with the respective brand heads. Then we will also be talking to Austin Malema, a phenomenal content creator as well, doing great things with celebrities, local celebrities, really out there, and really exciting to chat to. After that, obviously, we're going to be connecting with, we're going to be chatting to Kevin Singer and Singer Photographic and some other creators. So if you want to join in and get involved, make sure you send me a message. Let's see if I can get you on here. And obviously, if you're a brand out there and you'd like some exposure, let me know. It's really all about sharing the knowledge, sharing the creativity. Until next time, those of you that are out there, please make sure, please go to my YouTube channel, because I won't be doing this every week on Facebook. It will be moving to YouTube. unless you want me to, I might keep it on. I'll just see how it goes. But I will be definitely doing product reviews with some of the latest products that I talked about. Like you'll see here's the C.E.O mics. We're going to be doing something on Litra. We're going to be doing, there's a whole lot of stuff, brands that have sent me some things. So that's going to be on YouTube. So make sure you go and look at our YouTube channel, Steven Segal. If you're not sure, send me a message and we go. How often? Okay, so with regards to Peter, thank you so much. I'm glad that you brought this up. The challenge with me with regards to the timing is I really need those of you that are watching to let me know what time is you think would work well. It's going to be every Wednesday. The only challenge is that if I'm chatting to someone, obviously in the Asian territories, in China and that kind of thing, it's beyond midnight for them, like Singapore, and I want to talk to some of the brand principals. In the States, you can see it goes well at 7:30, but I need some help with this, and I'm asking you for your help with regards to it. See, Peter, I moved it to 7:30. Maybe it should be 6:30, but we'll check it out. So the times that I'm looking at is either 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 4 p.m., or 7:30. And if you've got your own thing, let me know. All right, so that is it from me. Through the Lens, it's a new initiative, something fun, something different, as you can see, getting to know the people behind the brands, behind the creators, and behind the imagery and content that's going out there. So please make sure you subscribe. I'm just putting this up there so you can have a look. Please subscribe through and make sure you connect with me. But until next time, I thank you for joining. I thank you for your time. And have a great evening. Stay safe, and all the best to all of you out there that are watching. I thank you for your support, and I will see you next week, Wednesday, for Through the Lens episode 4. Thank you so much. All the best, and goodbye.